What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jake Gutter in the building, holding shit down. Back at it again. We're gonna go over the new Noblesse event part 2. So we got a couple new heroes. Well, not new, but they buffed them a little bit. But we're just gonna talk about them. Okay. First up, we got here is Raizel here. Let's go ahead and check him out. They added a few changes to him, so we're just gonna go over all of his skills and we'll see what the business is. Alright, Raizel gives his noblesse judgment, developing a resistance that creates a 10% chance of ignoring abnormal status effect. Also achieves 25% higher attack when his HP is 34.3% or more. Now I think that it's at 33% is because of the soul gear, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that his attack before that was a lot lower. They raised it up a tiny bit to 25% of attack, which is, it's an okay passive. The 10% to resistance is pretty much, it's not really, it's a non-factor. 10% ain't really doing anything for you. I really wish that they would have changed that 10% and give us something else. Like, how about 10% to defense? I mean, I don't know. Give us anything besides resistance. Would have been awesome on that. So not too excited about that. Alright, third skill here. Spreads bloody wings, attacking enemies in a straight line at 220% of attack. And increases MP cost for using skills by 150% for one turn. Pierced enemies receive 3,500 additional fixed damage, but the backlash of the bloody wings also decreases Raizel's current HP by 10%. Now, as far as the skill goes, this thing hits hard, and that fixed damage helps out a lot. They did add that the MP cost is 150%, which is pretty good, because if you get hit with this, you most likely won't be able to use your third skill again. Possibly even your second. You might be stuck using your first. So on low MP heroes, this is pretty good. The problem with it though is it's the hitbox is pretty weak. I mean, you got 5 tiles going straight. It's in a straight line. A straight line is not really an ideal one, but it's the same as Frank's. So it's not too bad. They could have extended this some, so they didn't really do much to the skill. I'm just not too happy about it. So he got the big FU on his skill right here. Next up is his second skill, which is like his bread and butter. This is the one that I really enjoyed using back in season 1. Summons a bloody field, attacks enemies within its range at 178.6% of attack and burns 180 MP. Also decreases their attack by 20% for 2 turns. This one hits a wide area. It's got the Muzaka hitbox. Veterans to the game know what I'm talking about here. It burns, I think that they had it at like 120 MP burn, but now it's jumped up to 180, which is pretty decent, but at the same point in time, they could have boosted that up a lot more, because now with Ruins and now with Awakening, people just have more MP, so 180 is going to do a little bit, but people could still probably take that 180 and still be fine and still cast their third skill. So not too impressed by that. They should have went higher, especially, they just should have went higher. But it decreases their attack by 20% for 2 turns, which is pretty good too. This skill is epic on square map. I used to love this. I used to run them in slot 2 with the ghost step and give everybody the business. So he can hit like 3 people from there with the ghost step. So that's what I used to use him for. He used to be really good on swamp map. Run him in slot 3, and since he has that swamp walk, he can just go over there with the ghost step and give the people the business. A lot of times they line up by the tile, so they'll be in a straight line. So you could just go over there and mollywop them with the third, but this skill works also. So they didn't really change it much. I think that was just about it. His first skill is awesome. Attacks enemies at 150.5 attack with a 60% chance of charming for 1 turn. Also recovers Raizel's HP by 6.5%. Now this one right here was pretty cool in the tower. I would have liked it if they would have increased his charm chance a little bit or something. Gave him something. Now they did add this increase HP by 6.5%, but 6.5% of HP ain't really doing shit. But it is a perk on a first skill, so anytime you have a perk on a first skill, that's what the business is. So, So his awakening skill over here, I don't have it fully maxed, so I don't know what it all scales out to, but it has a cooldown of 3 turns, which is terrible. So no Pioneer set, you'll be able to use this on turn 4. With the Pioneer set, you can use it on turn 3. Overpowers the enemies with the noblesse authority to attack at 333.3 of attack, and immobilizes them for 2 turns and prevents all buff effects by sealing them. Also removes all buffs. So as far as an awakening skill goes, that's pretty damn decent. Problem is, ain't nobody gonna be still alive to that point to really make this effective and be useful. Not too impressed with this awakening skill. These cooldown turns that they gave the noblesse heroes was a big just what the fuck is going on. But post season 1, in season 1 he was an amazing character as is. I feel like he needed a little bit more justification as far as damaging wise goes. They should have threw him some critical damage on his passive or something, like remove that resistance and like maybe gave him like 15% to crit damage. That would have been cool, because he's kind of lackluster as far as damage wise goes with the other paper. Like you got the new paper hero Kai, he hits like a truck. Carrot hits like a truck. So I mean he's still gonna hit hard, but I don't know, man. He's just not really too impressive, and for him to be their leader of the nobles, I don't feel like they did him justice at all. They should have buffed him a lot more. They added a little bit of something to each one of his skills, but they did not improve him. As far as he goes, I just think that there's better paper heroes out there to where he's not really going to be ideal. Now he does come in handy in the Tower of Dawn. He's an awesome hero for that, so he'll be more than welcome to have him back there. Now they did do some changes to his soul gear. Not even sure. I was like so unimpressed with what they did with these heroes. I feel like it's a tragedy. Anyways, this one increases skill damage by 14.2% and skill effect range by 1 on his 3rd skill. So instead of being able to what was it? Was this the range or was this the effect range? Okay, so it extended his range out 1, so it makes it to where you can tag somebody from 5 tiles. Yep, so he can attack from 5 tiles now away instead of 4. So that, I mean, that's not too bad. So we're not really complaining too much about that. His wings here, I don't even know what the hell they do. Okay, so maxed out passive skill activation conditions change to 20% or more HP. So, I mean, that's not too bad. An extra 25% of attacks is pretty decent. So, let's see what his stats are. I haven't even had a chance to look at him. His HP is great. MP is pretty decent. His attack is pretty damn high, so that's pretty impressive. Defense is medium. It's just Dodge nobody cares about. His crit rate is high. His mastery is high. His movement is a 3. I feel like that really holds him back with him not having a substantial amount of range to really hit people at an angle and whatnot. His growth rate is slow, which is terrible. Anytime you have slow in it. Now, as far as his soul gear goes, do I feel like it's worth the $50? Fuck no. I wouldn't waste my time buying it. If you already have it, that's what it is. How would I rank him in BOH? In BOH, I mean, he still hits pretty good. His skill set, this burning MP could come in handy pretty well, but I don't see him being past a tier 2 hero. So he'll probably be a tier 2 hero. There's just a lot more better options to use than him. So I don't really see an uprising in him unless you want to run the full noblesse team, which I do plan on running just to do it, to make my dream a reality. I always wanted to take a whole noblesse team to first. So I'm going to get back up on that here eventually. But he's underwhelming. They should have made him a lot better. I was expecting like a Frank level buff. add some stuff on there so he can catch up on damage, because he would have been great for guild raids. But the way that he's currently constructed, there's just better heroes. Kai's gonna outdo him all the time, you know. Syra's gonna mess him up too, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Kai's just a lot better. That's what it boils down to as far as paper heroes go, and from the guild raids point of view. Then Sayra is a lot better too. So Nox is a lot better. So I mean, just so unimpressed by him, man. They just did a terrible job. And his first skill, they should have extended his first skill so that he can at least co-op and make him guild raid worthy. With that 4, it kind of hinders him a little bit. So all in all, for the buff that they gave him, I give him a D. As far as he goes as an overall character, I would say he's a tier 2 hero in BOH. I would say he's a great Tower of Dawn hero. So basically, that's what he boils down to. He's a Tower of Dawn hero. That's what you're going to use him for. So, good job, Nexon, for fucking one of my favorite characters. Good job. Next up is a tragedy. I hope everybody sends tickets and complains, because this is on some next level bullshit. Now, Rask, I enjoyed Rask a lot when I used to play the game. Loved her in Season 1. And she was, even though that she was a little tiny bit underwhelming, I still used her. She still did a damn good job. Freaking loved her as a hero. Just loved her mechanics, the whole 9. Her hitbox skills, just great job. But they royally fucked her. They did absolutely nothing. And then the stuff that they did do is like good in the tower, but we don't give a damn about a hero just for the tower. We like to use her in Battle of Honor also, you know, and it would have been nice to see her pull up on the scene in guild raids, but with just her skill set, I mean, I don't know. Let's just go over it. So, the Lord's Judgment creates a 14.1 chance of resisting abnormal status effect. This right here is by far one of the worst, shittiest, underwhelming passive ever. This is terrible. She might as well not even have a passive. This is a tragedy. So if they were going to buff anything, give her a passive that actually means something. This is, fuck, I don't even have anything to say about that anymore. That's just terrible. It's a tragedy. Next up is her third skill here. Cast a Bloody Field that inflicts 178.6 damage on the enemies within its range. Weakens the targets to receive 20% more damage for 2 turns if the target has 50% or more HP, and achieves a 28% higher final skill power if the target has less than 50% HP. If the target is a boss monster, increases critical damage by 10% for 2 turns. So I think they added that critical damage if it's on the boss, which we don't really care about, so that's just I mean, I could see her being good in the Tower of Dawn. That's pretty much what sums her up. Calling forth the bloody tornado that attacks enemies at 150.4% of attack and causes 41 continuous damage for 2 turns. If the target is a boss monster, removes 1 buff. So that's definitely going to come in handy in the Tower of Dawn, but not in BOH, where we would like to see her shine. Her first skill, swings the soul weapon Ragnarok, inflicting damage at 133 of attack and increases its defense by 1200 for 1 turn. If the target is a boss monster, then their defense decreases by 2500 for 1 turn. Her awakening skill over here, I don't even have it unlocked, so I can't even see the cooldown time. Are you fucking kidding me? Her awakening skill, we'll just read it. I have no idea on the cooldown time. Releases the powerful of Ragnarok to attack enemies at 594% of attack while ignoring 2,400 defense. If the target is a boss monster, then their attack decreases by 5,000 for 2 turns and max HP by 5.5% for 2 turns. Now, judging by the damage multiplier, it's looking like this is gonna probably be a 3. Actually, it looks like it's gonna be like a 4-turn cooldown, which is terrible. Fucking tragedy. So you'll be able to use this skill probably on like turn 5. And what they did to her is they just gave you the big fuck you. Now, they made her to where she's a little bit better for the Tower of Dawn, but she's not like a must-use hero for the Tower of Dawn. You know, I don't even know where she's gonna slide into the rotation to where like nothing stands out about her to where I'm like, oh my god, let me pull out Rask. I need her for this level in Tower of Dawn. I just don't see that happening. They completely fucked her over. Shame on you, Nexon, for doing such a thing. Let's check out her soul gear. Increases skill damage by 12.5%, which is pretty decent, and incoming critical damage by 7%. That's actually pretty damn good. What skill is that on? That's on her 3rd. Okay, so that'll jump up her critical damage to 17%. That's pretty decent. And they would give her some soul gear that affects additional effects. Achieves 3% higher attack per attacking target. So I mean, that's not too bad. Her soul gear as a whole is pretty damn good. Is it worth the money? Fuck no, because she's a terrible character. Terrible hero now. They just left her in the dirt. Fucking shame on you, Nexon. I hope everybody sends tickets and tries to make them right the wrong. So we're gonna do a separate video on the new hero we just got, and for the soul gears, we'll just do that separate. I just wanted to give my 2 cents real quick about these heroes and how it's a tragedy. Just terrible. They did put up the elusive Lord costume. I know me, I've been missing it forever, and in the Tower of Dawn, this costume really comes in handy. So if you're gonna go out and get a costume, this hero MP recovery by 3 is fucking awesome. And that attack, it's mainly just for that MP recovery. It really helps out a lot in the Tower of Dawn hell. So make sure that you definitely get it. This is like the only thing worth buying is this Lord costume. That's it. So get the Lord costume. What do they have in the shop for the packages for them? Let's go over that. So for Raizel here, he has a special box, his equipment, his set is shit, and they got his soul gear, which is shit. I would have never even purchased that if I would have known that, because I bought that in Season 1. I would have never even gotten it. Rask, I didn't get hers last time because she was super underwhelming. She still is. Fucking terrible. None of that's worth money. So please, people, don't spend a penny on it. You're not missing anything. Raizel's, you don't need it. He's just going to be a Tower of Dawn hero. Rash, you don't need it. She's just going to be a Tower of Dawn special needs hero, I guess. I don't even really see her being utilized in there. I think she's just going to be on the back burner. She's been forever franked. She took Frank's place, is basically what went down. Yeah, it's just fucking terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyways, it's your boy, Jay Gutter, in the building. Holla at your boy.